We also want to welcome Billy Bowling, who is the team lead for Enterprise CPG accounts with ForceBrands. ForceBrands connects consumer brands with top talent in food, beverage, beauty, and cannabis companies, assisting with executive search and a self-service job board. Billy is based in New York and serves as an advisor to consumer brands of all sizes, helping to scale businesses by identifying their unique strategic needs and providing the right solutions for them. So we're thrilled to have you, Billy. You have the next 20 minutes to share all that companies can be doing right now to manage teams during this time. We'll switch to Q&A towards the end of the half hour and allow folks to unmute themselves and submit questions via chat in the meantime. So thank you for joining us, and the floor is yours.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Lauren, and thanks for everyone for joining me today. I hope that everyone out there is safe and healthy. Certainly recognize that these are some challenging times, both for companies building their brands and for people looking for new opportunities out there. So I want to thank Branchfood for inviting me to join. I grew up a big Boston Red Sox fan, so I look forward to the day that this is all over and I can head up to Boston, see everyone in person, and maybe grab a beer or two over at Fenway Park. So excited to be talking to you about who's hiring, how to attract and how to retain your own talent during this time, and talk a bit more about what it's like for candidates out there in this challenging market. So there's a picture of me without my Corona beard. But as I said, my name is Billy and I represent ForceBrands. We're a leading recruiting firm within CPG. We were founded in 2007 with really the belief that people are truly a company's greatest assets. Our founder and CEO, Josh Wan, started the company, and he's really the ultimate people connector. Prior to creating ForceBrands, he helped to run a rum company, and he was constantly helping people connect them to awesome opportunities within the bev alc industry. So he launched a boutique specialized recruiting firm known as BevForce, and the rest is history, as they say. Now we have several industry-specific divisions. So we have Food Force, BevForce, Beauty Force, Herb Force, and Pet Force. And within those, we have our job board, which you see at forcebrands.com. That's where companies post jobs and people apply and the results go directly to them. And I work on our executive search side. So I'm able to leverage specialized recruiters across sales, marketing, finance, operations, and HR to work with some of the companies that we partner with. And we consider ourselves truly lucky at this time to be working with essential businesses that are keeping our country fed and the people that are employed by those companies. We work with some companies such as Kind, Hippies, Justin, Smashmile, Hershey's, Nestle, Sam Adams up there in Boston, Hanes Celestial, Beyond Meat. But we really work with companies as small as 3 people up to the Nestles of the world, and work to provide them with insights. We get to know the talents and we get to know the companies and really work to create a special match there. So excited to jump into this, and looking forward to answering some of your questions at the end. And you can see these are some of the companies that we currently work with and have relationships with, and are actively advising during these times as companies are forced to make a lot of changes and transitions to their business model. I want to give you a look inside today's industry, just kind of what we're seeing in terms of what the most in-demand jobs are, what functions have become the most critical to companies. We've certainly heard about a lot of layoffs within frontline sales, field sales, and field marketing. Approximately 40% of the new roles that companies have chosen to engage us with have been on the operational side of things. Supply chain is extremely important right now. So we're seeing companies pump a lot of their resources into making sure that they can produce the product, make sure that they can deliver the product, and do that in a safe way for their employees that are making it, and deliver it safely to the consumers. We're also seeing probably about 40% of our recent placements over the past month have actually been with really high level sales positions. So while a lot of that we're seeing cuts on the entry level sales, companies need to have their strategic leaders in place. They need to have those high level executives in there so that they can come up with a strategy for during this time and when we exit this time. We're seeing more investment than ever within finance. Companies need to have their CFO, need to have their controller, everyone on the same page. You're seeing spikes in demands, and then you're seeing where industries like the milk industry overestimated demand and had to dump thousands of gallons of milk out. So having those strategic leaders to monitor the supply, monitor the demand, check the pricing, and making sure that they're running their company in a fiscally responsible manner is more important than ever. We're also seeing that companies in their hiring are needing to rely on existing relationships. Everyone's got their calendar backed up with Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting. So they need companies, can't afford to have small talk or chit chat and get to know a new salesperson, but they're going to pick up the phone for a salesperson that they already know, that they already have a relationship. So companies are relying for their key account positions. You've got to show a history of success and a history of having established relationships within those companies. So companies are definitely having to pivot during this time. There need to be more strategic than ever. You're seeing a lot of the resources on marketing allocated to content. Everything's digital right now. So companies are investing more in their social media, in their brand awareness, and finding ways to connect with both the consumer and with the stores that sell their products. Direct to consumer is huge right now. E-commerce, people in e-commerce are more in demand than ever. So companies are relying on those key positions, bulking up their supply chain, the safety, the quality, to ensure that they can meet demands for production. It's more essential than ever that you have the right people in place. So definitely there's absolutely some challenges that you see during this time, and engaging and retaining your own talents. Working remotely has always been a nice perk that we've seen historically. There's hundreds of studies talking about how working remotely has yielded an increase in production. But it's different when that's by choice versus being required. So companies are really having to engage their employees and keep them productive. It's things like daily check-ins, as well as setting work hours and setting expectations. I've seen a lot of memes out there where instead of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's just day, 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 day. So as everything's blending together, it's important for companies to recognize that their employees still need a balance to balance their life, that there's life outside of work, and they want to connect with them to make sure that they're happy. In terms of attracting new talents, companies are still interviewing virtually. We saw a bit of a resistance to this in the beginning where they're saying, no, our final round has to be in person. They have to come in. But we know in the world that we're living in right now, that's just not possible. And many of these roles are critical. So companies need to continue the virtual process. I consider it the best time to network right now. Instead of having to, if someone's happily employed, but they're entertaining other offers, they don't have to fly to that on-site interview. They don't have to catch the train uptown. They're able to network, they're able to log in, and they're able to conduct interviews without their boss looking over their shoulder. So now is the best time more than ever to connect with people. Everyone's in the same boat. We're all online. We're all on our computers or on our phones every day. So I really encourage people to, use that time wisely. Increase your network, whether you're looking for a new opportunity or not. Use it to connect with new potential clients. And as we know within the food space, it really is a small community. So leverage the relationships that you have. I've had, companies ask me, is it appropriate to hire right now, or is it insensitive? And really, because of those questions, it's extremely important to rely on the relationships that you have. Rely on the people that know the companies inside and out, know why they're hiring. We here at ForceBrands, when we're presented with openings, we know that either that's a new position, or maybe the person in the role previously was promoted, and that's why they're needed. Or maybe there was a layoff, or someone was fired, and this is why they were fired, and this is what the next person in place needs to have in order to do the job successfully. At the same time, we get to know the employees, we get to know what they want, we get to know that maybe the person ahead of them in the role has been in there for 5 to 10 years and isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So if they want to get promoted, or if they want that new opportunity, they're going to have to leave. But it's more important than ever to leverage the relationships you have and leverage the people that have connections within the company that can give you the honest truth about working there. As far as the hiring process, we've actually seen it speed up. Normally, a lot of interview processes would be stretched out over the weeks as you're battling getting on people's calendars or waiting for them to return from a business trip. We've seen offers, interview processes to offers extended and happen all within the period of 1 week. If a company really likes a candidate, they're trying to get them on the phone with someone else either that day or the next day. So we're actually seeing where the hiring process is able to be sped up because of the technology, and a lot of the limitations that are normally in place are no longer there. But it's really important to go from what you think about a company to what you know about a company. Do your homework, connect with people that have worked there, leverage companies like ForceBrands who have relationships and can help you network, because it's really important to know what is going on with that company and what are the reasons behind the roles that they have. And within every challenge comes great opportunities. In terms of the virtual connection, how can companies leverage the virtual workplace? Companies and employees are connecting on a level that we really haven't seen before. It requires a lot more collaboration, a lot more leaning on your colleagues, and a lot more virtual and video connection like I'm doing here with all of you in the audience. I've been able to feel closer to some of my colleagues that I've worked with for years, but because of these daily video messaging that we're having, because of all the collaboration that we're required to do, we're really gotten a lot closer. So there's definitely an increased level of collaboration. And you're also seeing within the virtual connection that companies are finding that people can do some of their jobs from anywhere. Here at ForceBrands, we always loved everyone coming into the office and coming into our beehive in Tribeca, where there's just an abundance of activity and connections happening. But our own CEO during this time has witnessed just the value and the productivity that people are able to have. And previously, the only thing that stopped us from expanding to other markets in the country was having a physical location there, or renting an office space. And we no longer need to do that. And that's kind of the same with other companies out there. So it truly is the best time to network with potential clients as well as potential candidates. There's also an increase in interaction with C-suite. We're seeing where new employees, because of these virtual interactions that they have, and are getting to pick the brains of their CEOs, are getting to learn from them, are getting to rely on C-suite and the upper level of leadership more than ever. And through that, it's bringing companies together. It's also allowing companies to take a look at and see where are the cracks in their business. What do they need to improve on? And what do they need to address? In terms of the candidate connection, there's definitely more active talent out there. In the beginning of this, you were hearing of offers being pulled or people being caught in no man's land after giving their 2 weeks notice and the new company not being able to move forward with hiring. Companies are moving forward with hiring. They're doing it cautiously, but they're definitely more open. And as a result, candidates are more active. In terms of companies hiring, it's the best time to talk with candidates. You can get them at home, you can see them face to face, connect with them. They don't have the boss over their shoulder looking at them, finding out that they're interviewing. So it's really a great time to connect with candidates, as well as we're seeing that it's being proven that people can work from anywhere. It's allowing companies to truly find the best talent. Often companies were limited by their inability to offer relocation packages, or someone waiting for their child to finish up school at the end of May and June before they can make a move. Now they're able to really bring together the best people from across the country, and it adds a ton of value to their company. And finally, employer branding. We've seen, prior to this, in our ForceBrands did a talent market report that we released prior to COVID, and we saw that 76% of all CPG sectors rated employment branding as extremely important in terms of attracting top talents. And prior to this, 56% of all respondents had really made a key effort to increase their employee branding during this time. But the trick with employee branding during this time is you're relying on this. You're relying on video conferences to conduct your interviews. You can't bring them into the office. So having that sexy office or that fully stocked kitchen, that doesn't matter anymore. You've got around 30 minutes for the company to make their pitch as to why a person should be joining them. So it's really important for them to have that elevator pitch together, be succinct, be specific, in order to attract new employees. And social media, relying on that more than ever. I've seen more companies hire new employees across social media so that they can both connect with employees, potential employees, as well as connect with their customers. So really, we know it's tough out there. We know it's a difficult time. But here at ForceBrands and myself, happy to be a resource. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. My email is easy, just billy@forcebrands.com. But we're able to give advice to job seekers as well as companies. We've got talent market reports, salary guides, job descriptions. So feel free to share my info. If you have friends that have been laid off or unfortunately let go during this time, I'm happy to connect them with one of our specialized recruiters after speaking with them, to really be a resource, because now more than ever, it's important for us in the food community to come together and help each other out. So with that, I'll open it up to questions, and thank you.
Great. Thank you, Billy, for that great insight. So we'll turn it over to questions. As Billy had said, if you do have a question, please raise your hand virtually. We'll call on you and you can ask the question at this time. Alternatively, if you'd like to ask a question via the chat, feel free to send us a message and we're happy to relay the question to Billy. Billy, to kick things off, I think one of the questions that I've been thinking about a lot with employers is, so much of that employee benefit is actually really food centric. Like you had mentioned, the fully stocked kitchens and, some of these other food oriented incentive programs. I'm kind of curious how employers are getting creative these days with remote employees and helping support their connectivity and culture within their employees that are now dispersed all over the place and can't come together in a location to be able to foster that community and collaboration.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to have, and everything's scheduled right now as you're seeing people's calendars fill up. So it's important to get scheduled connections on the books. I mean, we here at ForceBrands, we did a Tiger King happy hour. We've had at random times during the day where there'll be a 5-minute dance session where people get on and they play music. So abilities to connect that way. One of my buddies, the founder of Fury Financial Services, sent out gift baskets to employees. I've seen companies send plants, send succulents, send almost like a package that you get from your parents, a care package when you go away to college. Just things, mind fuel. Certainly we've had yoga sessions online. One of my colleagues is a former yoga instructor. So just finding different ways to bring people together, because it's definitely easy for people to feel like they're on an island or they're isolated, or maybe they're not getting as much face time with their boss because everyone's grinding right now. But it's important to really, for companies to schedule that time to remind their employees that they're thinking of them, and not just in the dollars and cents, that they're still thinking of them as people, and doing activities like virtual happy hours or dance parties or yoga sessions.
Great, thank you. So one question that did come through has to do with the growth of consumer packaged good companies in terms of sales. And are you seeing more opportunity to work for consumer packaged good companies, given the growth that they've been seeing in sales and bringing new products to market?
Absolutely. I mean, right now they're putting a lot of the money that they're getting from the increased sales uh, into operations, and just making sure that they can deliver and that their stressed supply chains are holding up. But a lot of these companies are going to have some pretty amazing Q1s and Q2s when it comes to sales. So as we're seeing where they're hiring on the back end, that's not, a lot of these are very highly confidential positions, but they're bringing in VPs of sales, they're bringing in top executives, and these people aren't going to be able to do it all by themselves. So you'll definitely see them start to grow their teams. It takes time. A lot of companies were kind of looking around to see what everyone else is doing, but we're seeing a lot of our clients that are starting to move forward as business as usual, if you will.
Great. Another question that came through has to do with job seekers. How can job seekers best position themselves during this time, and work with businesses, work with search firms like yours to be prepared for new opportunities?
Like I mentioned, in terms of companies wanting to have their elevator pitch together when they get the limited time to talk with job seekers, you certainly want to have your pitch together. You want to be able to show where you've added value in the past. But I mean, everyone's on LinkedIn right now. And my wife has to pull the computer away from me because I'm responding to people in London when it's midnight at my time, or responding to West Coast clients. So everyone's on their computer, everyone's on LinkedIn. So don't be afraid to reach out. If you have a mutual connection, reach out to them. I'm finding a lot more people are willing to talk now than they ever were. Even if they're not looking for a new job, you're saying, if I'm expressing interest in talking to them or learning from them, they're willing to put some time on the calendar. So really just be honest that you want to learn about the company, you want to learn about what life is like there. And then don't be afraid, for the ask. Everyone knows that these are challenging times, that these are sensitive times. So don't be afraid. If you see someone's connected to a company, ask for the introduction. It can't hurt.
Great, thank you. Any further questions we have from the group of folks on the call? Okay. Well, if folks have further follow-up questions, Billy, we will direct them your way. We thank you for your time and the great presentation. Really interesting to see, what changes are happening as we hear of employers hiring, employers firing, and what the industry is experiencing as it relates to, the refocus on food in so many ways as something that is truly essential during the COVID crisis. So thank you for that guidance and that insight. Thanks to those of you who joined. We have upcoming calls through the rest of this week, and you can learn more about those at branchfood.com/servingupsupport. Additionally, if you have feedback or you'd like to be connected directly with ForceBrands, feel free to reach out to info@branchfood.com, and we're happy to provide that bridge. As a last reminder, all recordings can be found on our YouTube channel, including this one, hopefully by the end of today. So we encourage you all to check out this and all past presentations. They've been really tremendously, I think, helpful, insightful, and in service of what food entrepreneurs are going through at this time. So thank you again, Billy. It was wonderful to have you. Big fans of ForceBrands here here at Branchfood, and we look forward to working together in the future.
Thanks, everyone. Stay safe and stay positive.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.